Made headlines last week after endorsing the Iran nuclear deal. Now the United States is reportedly seeking the Pope's help on freeing American prisoners in Iran. Political reports the Obama administration has been in touch with the Vatican about ways that Pope Francis can help free U.S. prisoners in Iran. There are 4 U.S. hostages currently being held in Iran. They include U.S. Marine Amir, Washington Post reporter Jason Rezaian, Iranian-American Christian pastor Saeed Abedini, and retired FBI agent Robert Levinson. Now, as Political points out, the Pope being involved in prisoner negotiations is not a far-fetched idea. At least one prisoner's family has reached out directly to Pope Francis for help. Meanwhile, just a few months ago, the Pope met with a high-ranking Iranian female politician. For more, let me bring in Joe Cirincione, president of the Plowshares Fund. So folks might ask here, Joe, how does this come together? How does this work?
Right. How can a Catholic pontiff help a Protestant president and a Muslim Ayatollah arrange a prisoner swap? Well, the answer is that he's Pope Francis. As Pope, he has global reach, global networks, and, of course, relations with Iran, relations with the United States. And as Francis, he's deeply interested in seeking a reconciliation between nations. You just saw him play a critical role in the Cuba-U.S. reconciliation. I think Pope Francis believes that a U.S.-Iranian cooperation is essential for his long-range goal of a Middle East peace, and he can play a role in helping this exchange. Remember, there's 3, maybe 4 U.S. prisoners in Iran. Iran says there are about 19 Iranians being held by the United States. Just this weekend, you had President Rouhani on national TV the possibility that such an exchange could take place.
Well, conventional wisdom says here, Joe, that Iranians will run the other way once the Pope becomes involved in this issue. Why would Iranians, why would the leadership in Iran, you mentioned that the 14 hostages, 14 Iranians that are in the United States as one of the reasons why. But conventional wisdom doesn't tell you that makes sense.
Well, you've got hardliners in both Iran and the United States that don't want any reconciliation at all, that don't want cooperation, that hate the nuclear deal for that reason. But you've got pragmatists in both governments that see the necessity of the U.S. and Iran starting to cooperate, not become allies, but just cooperate on their mutual strategic purposes. Certainly getting the prisoners out is one such step. The Iran nuclear deal doesn't make that happen, but it was necessary to have that deal in order to open the gate, in order to open the way to these kinds of conversations. I would expect to see some movement on this front in the months ahead.
Will you see a swap? Is that what you're saying?
The most logical way to do this is some kind of exchange. As Mr. Rouhani said, he doesn't want to talk about it as an exchange, but a mutual release for humanitarian purposes is certainly the way these kinds of things have been done in the past, especially with the Soviet Union during the grim days of the Cold War.
Joe Cirincione, thank you.